Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and we are here to talk about Aston Villa versus Stevenage in the third round of the FA Cup. I'm here with Noah and Aman. And what do they say? The magic of the FA Cup? Well, we got a spell put on us by Stevenage, and we will be talking about that and a lot more after this. Okay, so we were at Villa Park for the third round of the Cup, and it's a competition we have not had a good record in as in recent years, only making it past the third round once in the last 8 years. So that run continued, Noah, to high-flying League Two Stevenage, who are having a good season, but well, I mean, talk about a nightmare game for Unai Emery.
Shocking game. But as you mentioned, 2016 was our last FA Cup victory. Do you guys remember who that was against? Or
so Wickham in the replay?
In the replay, yeah. So since then, we lost to Tottenham, Peterborough, Liverpool, Manchester United, Stevenage. I think I'm missing one as well.
Swansea, I think.
Swansea as well, maybe. Pretty bad.
Fulham as well, I think.
Oh, that's right. It might have been Fulham in that year we got back. But what I got for you guys is, do you guys remember who played in that last FA Cup win we had?
Oh.
Do you want me to go through the team?
Not at all.
Hepburn Murphy. I feel like that was
no, but I'll go through the team.
Okay.
Brad Guzan in goal.
Oh my God.
Jack Grealish at right wing back. Micah Richards, Kieran Clark, Kieran Richardson, Carlos Sanchez, Ashley Westwood, Scott Sinclair, Jordan Lydon, and our amazing Premier League strike force of Jordan Ayew and Rudy Gestede.
Oh my!
And we won the replay 2-0. Kieran Clark and Idrissa Gana Gay were the goal scorers in that game.
Well, that just highlights what a poor record we've got in this competition, Aman. And going into this game, it was a very strong team by Emery. There was a few changes, but we also, had quite a few starters still in there, like some Matty Cash and Leon Bailey kept their spots. And I was expecting a relatively easy day at the office, but we made Stevenage look like a Premier League team. I mean, full credit to them. They've taken their opportunities. They've come to Villa Park and they've had a real go, and they've made us look bad. But really, this shouldn't be happening.
No, I think the game here was at a terrible time for us people in the Eastern Seaboard here in Melbourne. So try to stay up to watch the game. Saw the lineup, saw the changes. Still a strong team. Danny Ings playing, Dendonka playing. Ben Benderek is Polish international. It's not like he was a reserve player at Southampton either. So it was, despite what people are saying that we played our B team, it was still should be good enough to to win against a League Two side. And I think I like looking back at the game. Obviously, I only watched the first 15 minutes and went to bed. Woke up in the morning expecting, maybe a 3-1 or a 4-1 scoreline. But then, saw the 2-1 result and was like thinking, what the hell, what's going on here? But I kind of realized, I think it's just a pure arrogance from the players. They thought they were going to win. I thought they were going to win. 10 minutes before the game, after seeing the lineup, slapped on a $50 multi on Sportsbet, thinking, this is a shoo-in. Danny Ings, anytime goal scorer, Villa win over 2.5 goals. But I woke up in the morning and see that there was zero in my Sportsbet bank balance. So I think I had that pure arrogance of we're going to go out and smash these guys. And I think just even watching the highlights, it looked like that's what these guys thought was going to happen. We'd go 1-0 up, pass the ball around. I think they just thought, we win this 1-0, maybe we nick another goal, we'll be 2-0, something like that. Just pure arrogance. And I think, if you're a player that's in that supposed reserve team and you want to push into the first grade, it's a wrong mentality to have. If you're trying to be a first 11 player, shouldn't be treating any opponent lightly. And, I think I think potentially we might have only seen 1 or 2 signings in January, but I think Emery is going to push hard now for maybe 3 or 4 signings because it's from that result, it's clear that the bench is not good enough for where we want to be.
Absolutely. And Noah, going back to sort of what a man touched on was we went 1-0 up. It was a quite a nice goal, some little 1-2s through the middle of the pitch. Coutinho was involved, Bailey, Douglas Luiz. It was a nice little move and a good finish from Sanson. It was good to see him get some game time, and he was probably our best player on the day, I would say, or one of. But it was after that and going 1-0 up, it was just very sideways, very slow. And, you've got to kill these games off and these sides off because, you give them a sniff and, they're going to take it.
Before I touch on Sanson's goal, I've got to say, you got to give respect to Stevenage, though, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a massive win for those guys. And they're second in League Two. Not like they're probably going to be a League One side next year. I've seen them play a couple of times when I've been over there watching the mighty Grimsby Town, and I think they've improved a fair bit since then. But, I mean, you got to give credit to those guys because they had 2 big chances and took them both. I mean, that's not easy to do. Sometimes the pressure could get to you, so fair play to those guys.
Yeah, well, they had an offside goal as well in the first half. They hit the bar. It wasn't like a smash and grab. I would suggest that it was a game that we dominated possession, but chances created and was fairly even.
No, exactly that. And that's why you got to give respect to Stevenage because they've come to Villa Park. I'm not sure where else they've played, but probably one of the biggest stadiums these guys ever played in. The atmosphere seemed okay during the game until obviously we conceded the 2 goals, but it would have been bloody intimidating for those boys to come play there. So absolute respect to those guys that are on the field for them and can't take anything away from their win. So fair play to them. But as you're talking about, the one highlight for us, and I was so happy that this guy scored, Tommy's mate. I guess think Tommy rates Sanson a fair bit. Gets his first Villa goal and his first goal in, I think it was 700 and something days.
Wow.
So a long time waiting for him. And I think we're calling out for a player like him in the Wolves game. He could have done something special for us. I'm just really happy he got his chance and hopefully could be something big for him now coming at Villa, maybe.
Well, yeah, man, he was one of the ones that maybe many of us thought could have been leaving in January, like with the likes of Gilbert, these guys. But, he took his chance and he played well, and that's good to see. And that obviously, shows that maybe he doesn't have one foot outside the door. He's committed and he wants to, win a place in this side.
I think he's been unlucky. I've seen comments that, no manager rates him. We've had 3 managers don't want to play him, but I just think that he's unlucky in the sense that, he's made the bench for Emery. Yeah. And it's just been that, the moments in games haven't gone his way for him to go on. It's a results-based business. It's not about giving people, minutes, to keep him happy or whatever it is like that. He's definitely, I think, a squad player. I'd have him as like the Douglas Luiz backup, if that makes sense. Like if we're having, 2 players for each position, I'd have him as that Douglas Luiz backup, or if he's going to be that, right-sided midfielder, not the creative one, more like the McGinn role, maybe a backup to McGinn, which is where he played against Stevenage. So, I've always thought, from when I've seen him, I've always thought there's an intelligent footballer there. And, I'm sort of like with Tommy, I wish he did get more minutes in the league. And it's just, even more minutes in a Villa shirt. And it's just a shame that, we lose this game because, we had Stoke in the next round. And, I'm not saying those guys would have been an easy beat either, but it just would have been another opportunity for him to sort of get minutes, in a Villa shirt. But now
Absolutely.
he's just, go back to training and try, hopefully he can get some minutes in the league now.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the Stevenage goals, Noah, and how poor they were, both for different reasons. One, sloppy playing out of the back, Olsen giving a hospital ball really to Dendoncker, who himself didn't look like he was expecting it. He was on his heels and coughed it up, gave away the foul, got sent off, gave away the penalty. And we've seen moments like this before from from Olsen, definitely.
I mean, I just don't think Dendoncker was expecting the ball because I think Olsen should have just hoofed it away, in my opinion. I don't think he should be playing out from the back with 2 minutes to go in the game. But I think I put in our chat, typical Villa. Honestly, like everything that happened against us, typical Villa. I mean, it's the curse of the FA Cup for us these days. But I think that goal is like both Olsen and Dendoncker's fault combined. Dendoncker still had enough time to clear the ball. He took a touch and then got it taken off him. And that tackle, like, what is he doing? He could have easily outbodied that bloke, in my opinion, at least put like body pressure on him. Didn't have to stick a leg in. And once you stick a leg in, you're always in trouble, last defender. I'm actually more pissed off and upset about the second goal.
Of course. Yeah, I was going to get to that.
No one went at this bloke. No one. Watkins was the closest, but it was even a poor effort from him. You know, you need someone that's actually going to throw your body on the line and block the ball because it could have easily been blocked. It should have been blocked by someone.
Well, Watkins had his back to the play. No one was switched on. No one was talking. You could tell they were sort of just going through the motions in the, you know, picking up their men in that defense and, you know, trying to pick up from the corner. And there was no urgency, even when Ollie Watkins did see what was happening and they had a two on one, 2 on none. You know, they were walking into the box and then Olsen beating on his near post. Well, didn't look great either.
It never looks good when your keeper gets beaten near post. Again, I think he should have done better, but all these things add up. You can't just go, Olsen's so dumb, he should have said that, because what if someone was on that player, didn't get to run to the box?
Yeah.
You know, like, I know Olsen should have been beating his near stick. It's just a normal thing for a keeper. But he got just got caught off guard. I think everyone did, but it shouldn't be happening. And you cannot blame Emery's tactics in this game, because I think he was we had the talent on the pitch to win the game. At the end of the day, whose team would you have rather on paper? I don't know anyone from that Stevenage team. No offense to them. Don't know anyone on the team. Where you have big names, like Premier League names, like Ings, you have Coutinho, Matty Cash made a name for himself these days, and Ashley Young as well.
Douglas Luiz.
Like, you have these big name Premier League players, and we couldn't beat League Two.
And the other fact is, like, we've just conceded a goal. We've just given away a silly penalty. We've got a red card. We've got 10 against 11. That should wake up the team. You know, if anything's going to wake up the team, that should. And being able to just see that out for the last few minutes and take it to a replay. But we couldn't even do that, Aman. It was really sloppy and really poor. And I never want to see that again.
I think what Noah said about both goals just kind of like touches on that arrogance factor, right? You know, whatever minute it was in, Olsen thinks it's all fine to play the ball. You know, he thinks we're Barcelona playing against someone, and you know, we can just roll it out, play some tiki taka out the back when we're only 1-0 up at the end. Like that's arrogance. Like Noah said, where's your game management? Just get it up the park. Just hoof it long. You know, kick it out for a throw in or whatever. Players can reset. Don't you know, play it short in a dangerous area. And you know, same thing, Dendoncker on his heels. Like Dendoncker did actually show to the ball, but then just for whatever reason, like just kind of like half stopped or just thought, you know, casually went at it, thought he was going to do a turn on, you know, go past the guy. And then same thing with the short corner as well. Just Ollie Watkins just fucking walking out to him. Looks like he, you know, was coming out with his food from the kitchen or something like that for him. And you know, I think that's just pure arrogance, thinking that, he's just going to have a shot. It's going to go out for a corner. It's not going to go in or whatever it is like that. It's just, you know, not being switched on. And then, Olsen shouldn't be getting beaten at the near post. It's not good. And, you know, I'm not one to, like, you know, single out players. But besides the Tottenham game, every game he's played in, he's looked shocking. And in that Tottenham game, he didn't really have much to do. Maybe one save he had to make or something like that. Yeah. He's looked absolutely shocking. And I just don't know, like, this thing about second choice goalkeepers. Like, I'd rather we have like a 24-year-old keeper that's, you know, come through the ranks and you sort of like try and build them up as much as you can to be that understudy. And maybe, you know, around 25, 26, you give him a loan move or something like that. Sort of what, you know, Arsenal kind of did with Martinez. You know, it was unlucky that they lost him, but he came through the academy. He had a lot of loan moves. He was on the bench for quite a amount of, you know, for a long time as well. But, you know, they knew he was a capable number two. And, it's unlucky that we came in for a bid for him or whatever it is like that. But, let's say if Martinez gets sold, we know we've got a number 2 that's come through the ranks that, maybe he plays for the shirt. He doesn't play for a paycheck type of thing like that. Whereas, we're signing journeyman keeper who aren't number ones, who
Exactly.
obviously, not consistent enough to play, when they need to play at those key moments. And I don't think that Olsen's going to stick around come end of the season. Well, I don't think he should anyway.
No, and I mean, in the broad scheme of things, like, this loss isn't that bad. This year is all about getting, getting us up the table, showing improving, getting Emery to get his team sorted, and next year is a big year. But it is disappointing because Emery is the cup guy. We all thought maybe we could win a cup under him, and this isn't a great start. We got knocked out of the League Cup in one of his first games as well at United. That was a bit of a different story, but this was disappointing in terms of performance and result. And but if we beat Leeds on Friday night, I think it will be all forgotten. So let's move on, and let's move on to another thing that's going on at the moment, which is the transfer window. And Noah, there has been an announcement by Fabrizio Romano that Villa have almost got one across the line.
Yeah, it's the Real Betis fullback. Is it Alex Moreno? Is that how you say his name? I can't say I know too much about him, to be honest. I've got no idea. I've seen some highlights that people are putting on Twitter at the moment. Looks pretty good. Looks like a pretty quick fullback, which we haven't quite had for quite some time that I can remember.
He's a left back.
Yeah, left back. Yeah, left back. Yeah, but I think this definitely means the end for Luca Digne as a starter in a Villa kit for me. I think that Moreno will come in and he'll start straight away. I think that Digne could be on the chopping block start of next season. I just don't think he is good enough for what Emery kind of wants to do. We've seen that in patches. Was it the Wolves game? He wasn't very up to it.
He took him off. He took him off and brought on Augustin, who's now got injured.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people say that he was regarded as one of the top 5 fullbacks in La Liga last season. So I don't know what metrics that's on, but that's good to see. I mean, Real Betis are a top 6 team in Spain. They're a good side, and Pellegrini's the coach there, and he knows the Premier Leagues, and Emery knows the Premier League. So I'm hoping that he's seen something in this Moreno that thinks that he can transfer his skills to the Premier League from La Liga, and he can pick up the pace of the game quickly and that sort of thing. So
Emery's not going to splash £14 million on someone he doesn't trust. I think he's very smart. So he's very good at signing players. Just seen we did at Arsenal, signing players like Martinelli, for example, for a packet of chips. Aman got a notification. If you guys didn't hear that, but I think he's very smart with his signings, and I don't think you'll see him splash what Leicester or Everton used to do. Everton in particular spend 30-40 million on Klaassen, a midfielder from the Eredivisie. He's going to be very smart and punctual with where he wants to get in.
Well, we don't have to look to Everton for mistakes in the transfer market. We've made plenty in our own backyard, and look, we've hopefully Emery's got done his scouting, done his homework, and we're picking up a good player. But it'll be interesting to see how quickly he can be sort of put into the side, and if he might play, let's say, in the next couple of weeks. Probably not against Leeds on Friday night, but we'll wait and see. Aman, you got anything to add about Moreno?
Just what I've read off Twitter, something like in the last 2 seasons, I think he's had the most interceptions and chances created or something like that. And just from reading what people have put, he's more a player that can go past opponents one-on-one for a left back, has speed, likes to get to the byline, whereas I think Luca Dean is more of a crosses early type of player. Does have a good forward, but he's more crossing early. And I think, Digne's success at Everton was because he was putting early balls in the box to, players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We obviously don't have a striker like that. No. So it's all good when you're getting assists for a number 9, but, he's suspect in defending.
Yes.
So I think, we get an upgrade. We get an upgrade. And as Noah said, it's probably he's on high wages, so let's hopefully we can move him on because we don't want a bench player that's going to be on high wages. I mean, it's not my money at the end of the day, but I'd rather see the club be smart with their investment. So yeah, hopefully we can bring in a few more players in the transfer window.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this week with a bit of a quick one. We've touched on the match. Let's forget about it now. We're out of the FA Cup. There's no trophies this season for us, but we can still push on to have a successful season. Hopefully, Emery can get us into a sort of top 10 position, maybe even a Europa League or Europa Conference League position, something like that. But we got Leeds on Friday night, which is going to be a cracker. Let's do a quick prediction, fellas, for Leeds. I'm going to say, maybe like a 3-2 to Villa. I don't know. It's a tough one to call.
Do you want me to go, man? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Well, obviously I've seen Villa play Leeds this season. It'll be a bit different, obviously, being under Emery, but Leeds don't look very good. They didn't look very good when I was there. Obviously, they might have improved a bit. But I'm going to go an Aston Villa 3, Leeds United 0.
3-0, Aman?
I'll go 2-0 just to be different and go Watkins and Bailey to score.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for your support, guys. Please like and subscribe. We will be back after Friday night with the Leeds match. So catch you then. Up the Villa.
Woo!
Hang on. I'm just gonna clean the lens.
You look fine, Scott.
There's no dust on it.
There's your TikTok moment right there.